Women in the Middle Ages ruling and keeping their kingdoms in their own right during a time of peace was quite a rare sight, and yet Queen Joan I of Navarre, the first female sovereign of her nation, managed this task spectacularly. Joan, Jean in French, was born on January 14, 1273. Obviously, at this point in the history of the Iberian Peninsula, it was divided into 4 Christian kingdoms: Castile, Leon, Aragon, and Navarre, along with the Muslim holdings in the south and the rising power of Portugal. Her older brother, Theobald, was to marry the daughter of the King of Castile before he died falling out of a window as a toddler. This freak accident left Joan as the only child of her father, King Henry I of Navarre. He was Count of Champagne and Brie in modern-day France along with his kingship. His wife and Joan's mother, Blanche of Artois, was the only daughter of the very French Count of Artois. King Henry I, known as King Henry the Fat, earned his moniker for a reason. In 1274, he died of suffocation from his own fat. As Henry's only legitimate child, Joan was now Queen of Navarre at the tender age of 1 year old. Her 20-year-old mother, Blanche of Artois, became her regent while the neighboring rulers saw the opportunity to take Navarre for themselves. 2 options were left for them: marry Joan and rule Navarre in her name, or simply conquer it for themselves, both looking easy at this point. If only Joan's brother hadn't fallen out of a window. The King of Castile, whose daughter Joan's brother had been betrothed to, chose to attack Navarre. Meanwhile, the King of Aragon considered a marriage to Joan or one of her relatives. The King of Castile promptly laid siege to Viana, a strategic city in Navarre, though the inhabitants of Viana did not surrender and were rewarded generously for this by Blanche of Artois. She took Joan and fled to France, and thus Joan's early life was mostly spent in France. Joan, only 2 years old, was betrothed to many old men by Blanche in order to secure alliances for the defense of Navarre. Joan ended up betrothed to the son of King Philip III of France, Louis, who thankfully was not an old man. The agreement was that the French would defend Navarre, Joan and her husband would rule jointly, and the King of France would be Navarre's new regent. This last condition left Blanche free to remarry, and she did, to a brother of Edward I of England, Edmund Crouchback. Because yes, the 2 brothers were named Edward and Edmund, anything goes in 1275. Joan's betrothed, Louis, soon died, but thankfully the French king was not lacking in sons. So at the age of 11, Joan was married to Philip IV the Fair, and soon after, his father died, leaving Philip as King of France and co-sovereign of Navarre. Philip and Joan's marriage was consummated quickly after, with their first child Margaret being born in 1288. Joan was described as being plump and plain and not very beautiful, though she was extremely well educated and witty, overall well prepared for the role of queen. She had known her husband from a very young age and had grown close to him, leading to her and Philip having actually a happy marriage. She and Philip had 7 children together, with 4 surviving to adulthood, 3 sons who all became King of France, and a well-known daughter, Isabella the She-Wolf of France, who became Queen Consort of England and overthrew her husband. For more about Joan's children, watch my video on the Tour de Nesle affair. Joan involved herself in French politics, and Philip encouraged her, even guaranteeing her regency if he died during their son's minority. She never returned to Navarre, making it seem as if the French were occupying the nation, as Joan's father-in-law had sent governors to rule for her, and Philip continued sending them after his death. The people of Navarre loved Joan and blamed Philip for not allowing Joan to visit Navarre, and she did not intervene in the affairs of the nation very much. As Countess of Champagne, another holding she had inherited from her father, Joan was far more involved in governing and often visited the country. Philip did not intervene in Champagne at all, so when Count Henry III of Bar decided to invade Champagne, Joan raised an army against him herself, capturing and imprisoning him. She remained popular in all her dominions, founding the College of Navarre in Paris in 1305. The Bishop of Troyes enraged Joan by allegedly stealing funds from Champagne, but Joan then died at the age of 32, allegedly in childbirth, though it was said that the Bishop of Troyes had killed her with witchcraft. Philip outlived Joan by 9 years and never remarried, dying in 1314. The throne of France was left to their eldest son, Louis X, who was already King of Navarre. After his death, Navarre went to his daughter Joan II, though as a woman she could not inherit France, which went to her uncle. Joan II's descendants were the House of Bourbon, which became the ruling house of France nearly 300 years after the death of both Joans, ruling until the French Revolution of 1848. of course with a brief interlude for Napoleon.